Well, hello everyone. I hope you are all doing fantastic. We're going to cross our fingers to see if we go live here on Instagram. Man, am I ever having troubles with Yellow Duck. I know Instagram announced, I think it was around July or August, this is where I started having problems, of having their own producer mode for desktop publishers. Challenge is that you could only access that if you're invited, and so I don't have access to that, and for some reason my Yellow Duck is not working either, so it looks like again we are not streaming live on Instagram, which really sucks. But what doesn't suck is what came in the mail today. I am absolutely crazy excited. I know I'm always excited, but I'm especially excited today. So there's a game we're working on called Cities of Venus. My brother Adam and I have been developing this now for a couple years, and it's been awesome. It's been an awesome ride. We just recently got our tabletop simulator version up, so anybody that wants to try that, DM me. We haven't made it public yet, so it's going to be by invite only. We're still working out some of the kinks, but it looks beautiful. Where we're going to have dishes to hold our minerals and things like that in the actual board game. When you have Tabletop Simulator, you can do some really crazy stuff. Like we have like smoking volcanoes, which you pull your minerals out of, which is just super awesome. So we're going to go through today. What I've been working on for a while here is Game Crafter. I got my Game Crafter package. It's quite large. And what's cool about Game Crafter is just their quality is just amazing. Second to none. These guys are top shelf on their quality. They do amazing, amazing work. So they're my go-to for prototyping. And I was actually really excited because I wanted to get a neoprene mat made for a Protospiel event that's coming up in end of November. And we're going to prototype this game. And I wanted to have our play mat, or at least a prototype version of what we're looking at doing at that event. And I was trying to figure out where to get this done. And I was almost going to order from China. And then I realized Game Crafter allows you to do neoprene mats as well, which I had no idea you could do neoprene mats through Game Crafter. Now I do. There's fixed sizes they go with, so we might end up actually cutting one of these for the event, because ours is going to be narrower because we want it to roll up and actually fit in the box. But we'll see. So here we are. Without further ado, I'm going to crack this open, and I am also going to move to my two-shot cam. All right, so if we get this one going, this is huge. Probably because there's neoprene mats in here. All right, so far so good. All right, lots of paper. We'll recycle this. It's Christmas time, so we're shipping a lot of games now too. So we'll use that for those. That's pretty cool. All right, let me move this. Oh, Lord. Almost lost my coffee there. All right. This, my friends, is our neoprene mat. We had 3 of these made. I gotta admit, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool. It's the right thickness, so I'll be able to roll it. So the idea is I'm actually going to cut it here and here, because I want it to be... Our current box is 11 inches. I think our final box is going to be 12 inches. So it's going to have to cut down to probably 11 inches to fit nicely into the box. So 11 inches, we're looking at about there to there. So we're not going to cut off too much. A lot less than I thought I was going to have to cut. So you got the earth over here. You've got your main deck for doing your drops, which will go here. And you deal them out along here, depending on how many players you have, what your player count is. And then these spots are for like event cards. And then we have, this is actually going to change this up. We're actually going to have a market here. We had someone, one of our game groups, Diane, had an amazing idea. She was playtesting this game, and she said, well, why don't you have it as a market? It says people rifling through to try to figure out which upgrade they're going to buy. Why don't we just have them as a market on the table, which I thought was a great idea. So it seemed kind of obvious now that you think about it. So we're going to have that. We're going to have the different upgrades that you can purchase along the top. and events will go here. But that, my friends, is neoprene mat. So I got 3, one for me, one for Adam, and one that I'm going to trim and use for game night. What an awesome feeling. How's that look, eh? Oh, let me hold it up here. Look at that. Oh, upside down. Whoop. There we are. So there's the Earth, then Venus, and then down to the very hot surface where all your cards get destroyed when you discard them. Okay, so that's that. The other thing we had made was actual cards. So we've been sleeving, printing on our printer, cutting, sleeving cards, and been doing this now for, again, better part of a year and a bit, for playtesting. It's the best way to iterate other than doing it digitally with Tabletop Simulator, because you can just reprint that one card and slide it in the sleeve and change it up. So we actually, now that we're pretty much ready, we're pretty much there. There's one change on these that I'm going to show you because I made an error that I'll fix, obviously, before we go to print. But I wanted to get the actual cards, so A, we can see how they fit on the board, how they feel. We have player boards, which are literally floating cities. I don't have one here. That would have been a smart idea. Actually, I do have them. Hang on. In the game behind me here. Ugh. So this is the box that also was made on the Game Crafter. If you're looking at doing prototypes, man, check out thegamecrafter.com. Amazing. They are simply amazing. All right, so this is my prototype box. There. And these are player boards. And these will be scaled to, I don't think these are size as. I think these are like 95% of the size that they're going to be. Yeah, they're pretty close. Yeah, about 90, 95. So they're going to be a little bit bigger than this. And the idea of these boards is you are placing upgrades. So you buy an upgrade. So in this case, we've got a power. So you can upgrade your power to hold more people in that area. So you would basically buy that card with the resources we have here on the side. And then you place it on your player board. And it would go right there. Then you place your people on top. Now, the cool thing about these player boards, and something I can't do at the Game Crafter, I'm probably going to try to mimic as best I can locally with as thick a cardstock as I can get, is we're looking at doing quadruple layer boards. All right, so the quadruple layer boards, essentially what you would see is you would have your city here, and then say where you have, and I know I got the light beaming right on this. Let's move it over here. Say you're going to put your card is going to go onto this spot. Instead of just putting it there and having it open, we're actually going to have it slide into the thing. So the graphics will still look like this, and only where the player count is going to be cut out. That will then get covered up with a new player count. So you know how much more players you have, but you still have the overall aesthetic of your floating city there. So that's the hope anyways. We might do a lower tier where we just have just a single layer player board that you just place your cards on top of like this, because it functions well like this too. Like it plays quite well. Tabletop Simulator, it's the only way we can do it. Will be basically a single layer like this, but my goal is to get to a 4-layer board because I just think it looks so cool. So anyways, these are the cards. That's the player board. So with the cards, we have these drops. So Earth has been sending supplies and immigrants to Venus, and you and your city are trying to bid on these drops before they fall down through the clouds. All right, so every round, you basically, and the rounds are basically, we have round 1, there'd be round 2s in here, round 2s, and then we get to round 3s near the end. 3s. Based on the player count, we shuffle at the beginning of the game, and we'll take like, say there's 4 players, you add 1, 5 times by 4, gets you to 20. That's your starting setup per phase. They go out one end of the board, and then you take the number of players you have and you add 1. So in this case, if I had 4 players, we're going to deal out 5 cards each round. And this represents the drop coming from Earth. Of course, you're going to see some duplicates here because these haven't been shuffled. And then they go on the board like so. People during their turn are upgrading their cities and so forth. And in the final phase, they get to bid on these canisters that are falling through the sky. And so say one person takes that one, that person takes this one, this person takes this one, another person passes, they don't want one. The rest fall to the surface and they crash and burn. So those are out of play now. The next round, you deal another 5 across. And we keep going through this until we get to the end of round 3. And round 3, what's really cool about it is sometime in round 3, you lose contact with Earth. So the game ends randomly every time you play. So I've played tons of times where the very last drop is where the Earth card comes up. And I've played times when the first drop of the third round, the Earth card comes up, which signifies the end of the game. And that's this guy right here. So that's the Earth card. So Earth comes up, a little question mark, lost contact, what's happened? And that signifies the end of the game. You add up all your points, highest victory points at that time, at that point wins. So you shuffle that in, and then, so you don't know when it's going to come up. It's going to come up sometime in the third round. I'm not going to shuffle it in quite yet. Then in addition to that, we have event cards. So our event cards have this little warning symbol on them. So, and they're all randomly mixed in here. So let me just unmix them quick. Da, da. Again, card quality from the Game Crafter is quite high indeed. Okay, so the events come up, and they could be anything from immigration, so that's a good thing. You add people to your city. Everybody takes 2 people, and they can add them anywhere they want in their city. But you can have bad things happen, like a virus outbreak, where you have to kill 2 people from anywhere in your city. You can have power surge, where you have to cut your power in half. We can have a solar flare, which can impact various departments. You can have a blight kind of hit your crops in your greenhouse, and depending on the round you're in, it can hurt even more. You can have a circuit breaker break in your mechanic department, which can impact them. You can have this weird Venus power surge happen, which ironically drains your shields, but it actually increases your power capacity. I love this one. Lost drop run. So you see it on fire. So you literally wipe all the cards off and no one gets a bid on anything. This one's radiation leak, so no population growth. Again, this is something that is not great because you count on your population growing every round to then redeploy to different departments. So when that doesn't happen, that's very bad, especially if you just got hit with a bad disaster before that one. And then lastly, we've got a water air leak in the water air department, which is not good. So that's kind of the events, which is really neat. Adds a nice little, almost like the Captain's Dead kind of thing, where you're trying to keep your ship together because bad things keep happening. It's a very dangerous place to try to establish a colony. Last but not least, this is where I'm going to describe my air. We have our innovation cards. So these cards, and as I said, we're going to set them up as a market. So they go like so along the board. And players, once they have, we have another little mini player board, which shows basically that picture on it with the Innovation Center, which is a station that circles around Venus. They have, you each have a little player board, and if you can allocate 8 people to send to that station, then you can exchange those 8 people in for any upgrade you want. And you pick from the upgrades, and then you add those upgrades to your station. And the upgrades are quite powerful. Number one, they all come with a victory point. You can see a little victory point in the side here. I know it's small, but trust me, it's there. But there's things like stable shields. There's just raw population growth. If you just need to get people back into your station, you can do that. There's a one that allows you to roll. You're rolling dice to mine each round too, so you can allocate miners to then go and mine minerals, and you can use the minerals for victory points as well as buying stuff. 2 dice, adding 3 pips to your roll. We've got a food air card, which allows you to put people there and they can temporarily work in your food or air departments. That's important because you need both food and air to grow your population. And then this is the error I made where I was just slapping myself. So this is the correct card where it's got 4 as a warning, and it's got like a shield. So that's stable shields, because every round your shields are eroding. But if you have this upgrade, your shields don't erode every round. They just go down if there's a bad event. But in doing our things, we got the wrong picture on this card. It hurts. The good news is because it's a market card, I can sticker over it. It's not going to look great, but it's good enough for Protospiel. What this card should say, and because there's an 8 on there, is it should have, we have another image kind of like this, which shows the Cryo Chambers. And it's literally just a holding area. It allows you to hold up to 8 people there temporarily. Because you'll find when you get to the later stages of the game, you could be in a situation where your population is growing, but you have nowhere to put them. And if you have nowhere to put them, then they don't grow. So sometimes you may need to park people somewhere. And so this is something you can bolt on to the bottom of your station, which is here. And you bolt it on the bottom, click, click. And that allows you to allocate 8 of your population there at any point. And then you can redeploy to other departments on later rounds. Let's learn, folks. I trickle checked the artwork. What I should have done is when I was uploading to GameCrafter, because it takes a little bit of time because there's a lot of unique artwork to upload. And you have to get the dimensions just right or it won't accept the artwork. I was fixated too much on that instead of doing one final pass through to check each and every card. So my bad. It hurts because I was hoping to have a perfect deck. But it's pretty darn good, man. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. They have the cards and the board and seeing the new pre-mat. Like it's looking pretty awesome. I get so excited. It is looking awesome. I'm loving it. And I can't wait to play it with some people. So I'm going to put in the show notes on the bottom of this video my tag for Tabletop Simulator. It's Tin Rollback Games, and there's like 4 numbers after that. Send me an invite. Our Discord server, again, I'll put the link there as well. Tin Rollback Games. Join our Discord server. We use that for the audio when we're playing a Tabletop Simulator as well. If you're going to join the board game design course as a prototyping, I'm not sure if it's Joe's prototyping or someone else's. Anyways, there's an online prototyping event this weekend on Sunday. Is it this Sunday? I think it's 2 Sundays from now. But when I participate in that, we use Discord servers. So I'd love to have any one of you join me for a game. I want to teach you how to play this game. It brings us so much joy. We love it. And we think you're going to love it too. So GameCrafter, JT, you and the team, amazing job again, guys. You did fantastic. Just amazing work. And we'll see you guys in the next